my lovely audience. Okay. So you go. Hi, my name is Andrea Villamediana, and I'm here to speak to you about the story behind this image. Photographs are visual representations of a moment in time, or at least that's what they seem like on the surface. While a picture may be worth 1,000 words, such as this image, it also evokes feelings and memories and requires information and history to fully understand what it means. Accordingly, this image does not shout a whole bunch of sense because the circumstances and history behind it are not known, as well as the feelings that the protagonist of the picture is feeling. This young lady is one of the many faces of the Venezuelan student protests that erupted in Venezuela about 6 months ago. These protests have been caused by the Venezuelan government and the rights that they have restricted from their inhabitants. But the issues in Venezuela are not just yesterday's news, but have been ongoing for the past decade or so. The mood in the country darkened with the election of President Hugo Chavez in 1998. The Center of Research on Globalization states that one of the first signs that President Chavez did not have the best interest in his country was when he stated that the bombings and killing of innocent women and children in Afghanistan was a crime of terror. The bombing campaign against Afghanistan in 2001 was put in place by the United States in response to the 9/11 attacks. Due to the slander provided by President Chavez, the United States took this as a personal attack against them. Additionally, after Chavez instilled an anti-American sentiment among his people, he declared to the U.S. ambassador of Venezuela at the time that Venezuela was now a sovereign state and no longer subordinate to U.S. power. With this declaration, President Hugo Chavez severely cut the international and economic relations between the two countries, which would be crucial in the later years to Venezuela's economy. As the years of Chavez's presidency dragged along, Venezuela began to cave in on itself. The economy went belly up, basic needs were less than scarce, and a strong disdain towards the government by the people grew. Bridget Johnson, a writer for the world news portion of About.com, included in her profile of Venezuela that the budget deficit and debt are climbing, and citizens are experiencing difficulties with housing and electricity, as well as food shortages, an unemployment rate of 7.3%, and about a quarter of the country living in poverty. Barrios, which are the equivalent to shantytowns, started appearing all over the country. And citizens had to adopt a lifestyle of having only about 5 hours of electricity per day. Additionally, the economists considered the last straw among Venezuelan citizens to be the 2013 election, when the Democratic candidate Enrique Capriles lost against President Chavez's protege, Nicolas Maduro, and therefore the biggest fight in Venezuela towards democracy was lost. Two of the main reasons as to why the protests began were the food shortages and the insecurities felt among the people of Venezuela. Hannah Dreyer of the Huffington Post claims that rigid currency controls and shortage of U.S. dollars make it increasingly difficult for Venezuelans to find basic products such as milk, flour, toilet paper, and cooking oil. Inhabitants frequently have to spend 2 to 5 hours every day in line at a grocery market to receive their basic needs, and sometimes they get there way too late to receive such needs. Finally, the Japan Times accredits that The protests were initially a reaction to rising crime and personal insecurity in Venezuela, a country with one of the world's highest murder rates. Accordingly, the capital city of Venezuela, Caracas, has the highest crime rate in the entire world. As seen on here, these are the many faces of the protests by the students in Venezuela. After countless usurpations such as the lack of food, lack of security, and the stripping of the human voice, it was just about time for tempers to boil over. These images show the heartbreak, relentlessness, and sorrow in Venezuelans that words simply cannot describe. These youth endeavors will not cease until they live to see the Venezuela that their parents experienced and speak so highly of. Thank you. Any questions?
At the beginning of your speech, you said that certain pictures evoke emotions and feelings within individuals. Why did you choose this picture, and did it evoke a certain emotion within you?
This picture?
Yes.
Well, as you can see in this image, it's a young girl, probably a college student around the ages 18 to 20. And on her hands, you see the word paz, which is the Spanish word for peace. And she is protesting in a very peaceful manner. And that is pretty much the whole basis of the student protests in Venezuela. They choose to peacefully protest. They are not whatsoever acting out violently. Yes.
Has there been any deaths or anything like that with these protests?
Well, up until today, the death count for these protests is 14 students and about 500 detained. Okay. Thank you.